5G is now coming next year, hopefully. Everybody is wondering whether the mobile device space is going to be something like 4G, where it was stuttering in the beginning, or are we much better prepared?
I think this time around, Surajit, we have two advantages. We are having the trials which are ahead of the spectrum auction, which typically is the reverse the other way around. So you have typically spectrum auctions, and then there are trials, and gradually the networks are settled, and then there is a ramp up of the network. This time, the advantage is on one side, we have the trials which are very aggressively going on. And the second side of the devices, we got a lot of headroom. So while Qualcomm was able to bring 5G and almost prepone globally 5G by a year, from 2019 to now was the time available for us. So somewhere early part of 2020, we in Qualcomm India started working with our partners, our brands, to bring the 5G devices in India into India. And despite the pandemic, we saw the first launch of 5G device in March of last year. And from then to now, we have probably more than 60 models already launched. We are also seeing the affordability of 5G, which has become one of the big objectives of Qualcomm. We expedited that affordability journey of 5G smartphones, and that is also going on. So what we are seeing is that even before the 5G networks are rolled out commercially, there will be a good, healthy ecosystem of millions of, or rather tens of millions of 5G phones which will be there.
Do you see the prices coming down to the sub 10,000 rupees segment?
The price transition is something which basically we have our OEMs who will have to decide how they want to bring the prices in. And they decide the pricing, not us. But what we do is, as an enabler to them, we have made affordable platforms of Snapdragon made available to them so they can launch these phones in the market. Now, if you watch the trend, we have currently devices anywhere between 15 and 20,000 rupees already on 5G. At no point of time in the history in India has a G migration on price point happened so quick. I would assume that it is not undoable and unthinkable to see that type of price points coming pretty soon.
There are a lot of startups, as you said, who are working in EV space and various other areas also. So, what is the sort of strategy that you have for ventures to play a much bigger role in India than it was earlier?
I think the role we play is far more than just the venture investments. Offering our engineering and our labs and all the access to engineering, which helps them, and testing, of course, to for a faster time to market and make the products commercial. We do invest in the startups too. And then we go to Qualcomm Ventures, which is actually, while it invests also in startups, it doesn't necessarily invest in only the startups which are a part of Qualcomm Design in India channel. It invests outside of that too.
How many startups have you invested in the country?
While we had incubated 77, we have not invested in all of them. In all, as far as ventures is concerned, we have invested in around 20 plus companies in India. And again, this is not a static number, Surajit. This keeps changing because you invest in new companies every year, but then you also exit a few companies. That's the nature of that business.
When do you think the chip shortage, which India is facing, will be over? What is your estimate?
Yeah, I think it's a problem which came up because of the sudden increase post the pandemic, which we all know that why it came. So I think as semblance comes in the supply chain, as the demands are more adjusted, the situation is gradually likely to improve. One thing which we are working towards is saying that there is some demand versus supply equity or semblance or equilibrium coming somewhere in early part of 22. And while some industries may still be plagued a little bit longer, for example, automobile works on larger or heavier nodes, or we call them more legacy nodes. The capacities of those nodes, as the market quickly gravitates, especially for the automotive, to more EV and more autonomous cars, is going to be a little bit of a catch-up game, and that may last a little bit longer.
One last question: is India prepared to have its own semiconductor fab plant?
So yes and no. I think the market is huge. The opportunities are huge. I would say when we look at the fab and we look at it as not one activity, which is the fab itself. There are quite a few things that come before the fab and after the fab. So it's actually a set of activities, and fab happens to be one of the activities. We tend to discuss that more than we tend to discuss the others, which are very much essential for the fab to exist or survive. So it all depends on where we want to look at and what we want to start with. I think the market is perfectly there for India. That when you look at any other country where fab is established, you see a lot of design capabilities. You have software parts and you have the design parts, EDSM parts, right? They are there, and then the fab is there, and then the testing is there, and that is the chain. Now, if you pick up that one piece which is called the fab, you need a lot of infrastructure requirements which are very stringent. I would say we need also that infrastructure to be in place where it's not just about land, it's about power, stable power. It's about availability of inert gases, availability of chemicals, availability of right transport. I would say we need to look at all of those aspects and then take a conscious call as a country where you want to start. You can start anywhere. Every piece has its own nuances. And as far as we want to look at the nuances and take a responsible call on it, that's perfectly fine. If you were to ask me personally, I would say the R&D of the semiconductor is probably more key to start with, and create that ecosystem of design capabilities, R&D capabilities of semiconductor. And India is capable with the skill and the talent which we have locally, and more companies and ecosystem should come set up this, enable this sort of design and R&D. I think that's probably what we should look at.
Thank you very much, Rajan, for giving me your time. Wonderful to talk to you.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.